for all of you on this webinar. For those who are exposed to this topic for the very first time, this is something which could become really a partner for you to keep you motivated and empowered throughout your life. This is that powerful. It looks very simple. What is it? The wheel of life is really just a circle which denotes our life and all the areas which we feel are meaningful inside of it. People have many different sections. What I have for you here today are 6, for example, only, and then you could have your own interpretation. So what it is a circle divided into 6 zones, 6 areas, right? And the circle has concentric small circles so that it is divided into 5 sections from inside to the outside, right? So if you see the slide, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are concentric circles, right? And then there are different sections the circle has. Section on family and relationships, on friends and social relationships, career and finance. Some people like to split these two as well. You could do that. There is health and well-being, personal passions, which are also fun, recreation, hobbies, pastimes. And then there is one on spirituality or personal growth, whichever you want to, choose, or maybe both are the same for you. So these are 6 areas, and what we do with this wheel of life is that we take the help of this wheel of life to try and assess how are we doing in every area of our life. If we don't do this complete assessment, what happens normally is we do goal setting only in one area. So sitting in the office, you would make goals for the year, the financial year, the business year. You would make maybe some goals for your financial status, but not perhaps take out the necessary time and attention for all the other areas of your life. Or some people are really motivated to do well on their personal front, which means fantastic health goals or goals related to relationships. But they don't do as well when it comes to their professional careers. And that's where that's put on the second burner. And we say, okay, life's happening and I'm moving ahead someday. But what this wheel of life really will help you do is make a very deep reflection of where each area of your life today is. And equally, we'll take that exercise to the next step and say, where do we want to take it to? So let's take an example. So when you look at your wheel of life, and I would urge you to draw this, even if it's a rough diagram, you will get a sense of, really drawing it with those little circles inside so that you have all the 5 sections. Let me back up to the previous slide and give you 30 seconds so that all of you draw it and you also mark each of the sections. So make 6 sections and you can put there family and relationships. These include close relationships, romantic relationships, intimacy. So these are all over here. Friends, career and finance, health, personal passion or hobbies, spirituality or personal growth. So once you make this wheel of life for yourself, I will tell you how to use it in an optimal way, right? And this is where we'll take a couple of quick examples. So what we will do with this is really, let's take relationships, for example. Now take a look at your wheel of life and ask yourself some questions. How do I feel about my relationship? If it's a close relationship, you want to, for example, think about an intimate relationship that you want to think about, spouse, partner, or someone who's really close to you. How do I feel about myself in this relationship? Am I an equal partner? Am I really happy? Am I doing well? Do I feel like I have my space and yet I have support? and camaraderie and trust and communication or not? What are some of the things I would like to improve? Things which I'm perhaps not satisfied with, and I wish they were a notch better. What are some of the things that I would like to improve over here? And how would I go about making those improvements? So reflect a little bit. And then on a scale of 1 to 5, you color that little circle. If you have scored a 1 there, which means the lowest score, you're not really happy, or you scored a 5 over there on relationships, which means it's excellent and just can't be better, and you're so happy and thrilled to have found a soulmate, for example, right? So this is something that, you know, you can do for relationships. 1 to 5, where do the relationships in my life stand over here? Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 4? Is it a 5? Yeah. Let's take one more example. Your career. And that's, of course, important for many of us, and it should be. Financial independence brings with it empowerment of a totally different kind. It also brings an additional meaning and a sense of fulfillment. So a career is very, very important, and you can determine and plot your career. Many times we feel that's one area, it's not in my control. My boss controls my destiny, or the job market controls my destiny, or what's happening out there now, I don't even know what will happen next. How can I control things? But even in this situation, with the COVID-19 spread, with the health risks, with the financial breakdowns that might just follow next, it is important, even more important, to sit down and make serious career goals. Of course, if not now, then when, right? So when it comes to career, ask yourself, what's most satisfying about the work I do? What specific things am I not happy about? What's most important to me in my work or job? I mean, these are things where, you know, you're really asking yourself these deep questions to understand that, you know, whatever you're doing now, is it in line with what you want to do? Or is it something that you've been compelled to do, or you feel stuck doing, but you've not been able to do anything about it so far because you've not sat down and taken the design of your career in your own hands, right? And that's something that I'm urging you to do. And then ask yourself, what steps do I need to take if I want a different reality, if I want a different career, if I want a different position, if I want a different title by next year, irrespective of what's happening in the economy right now. Once you start designing, pathways will open for you. So let's get down to really, you know, doing this exercise a little bit meaningfully. We will give it 5 to 10 minutes, so I will go slow. And Uma, if there are any questions at this point in time you've got from the chats, or you would like to ask, you know, on behalf of everybody who's listening today, I'm happy to take questions as well. So I'll give a pause.
There is one question, Shilpa. Shruti says, where is relationship in the wheel? Will it come under family or friends?
Okay, so for many people, they actually club it in one section and they call it relationships. Some people like to differentiate the two. Some people give them different names. For example, intimate relationships. Right? Because those are the ones that matter the most to them. And then they say social circle or social relationships, which means really friends. So this is really a very personal choice. In a way, it's nice, especially if it's an area which you are struggling with at this point in time. You can make it, this is your wheel, right? You name it any whichever way you want. But what's important is that it should help you get the kind of outcome that you want to achieve in terms of understanding how can you take it from point A that it is today at to point B, which is your desired state, right? So irrespective of what you want to name it, it's fine.
Okay. A lot of people are asking to see the previous slide. And someone has also asked for an explanation on the scale of 1 to 5.
Sure. So I guess this is the slide everybody wants to see again, perhaps. right? So the wheel of life is really what this is. It's a simple wheel. You can draw it on a paper. There would be online resources available on the same, so you can actually even take PDFs which are available, print those out and use them. But I really love to do it by hand, and it gives a lot of room for reflection. So what you need to do is draw a circle, draw a small circle right in the center of that big circle, right? And use that to divide the big circle into 6 sections. Okay, if you can think of more areas in your life you want to set goals on, make it 8 sections. It's absolutely fine to do that as well, right? You want to split career and finance into 2 different sections, go ahead and do it, no problem. So that's how the circle is designed. It represents each area of your life, which means that we start to look at our life as a whole and not as something which we live in bits and pieces, right? In a mechanical way of living, especially in urban areas, we become machines, we run on auto mode, and there's not much room for reflection on all areas of our life. This wheel of life helps you to do that. So it's a tool, number one. Second, on the scale is a scale which is 1 to 5. Some people do a 1 to 10 also, but I feel 1 to 5 makes you take tough sort of decisions on where exactly you are at this point in time, and you can't wriggle out. So this is going to work the best if we are honest with ourselves. So scoring yourself or shading the area which is close to the 1 under relationships, for example, would tell you that you are not at all happy with the relationship in your life. If you put a 4 over there out of 5, so this is a scale 1 to 5, 1 the lowest score, which means not happy at all, and 5 is excellent, I'm super thrilled, I'm here, right? And you can be anywhere in between as well. So if you score a 4 on 5 on relationships, means that you are fairly satisfied, and it is definitely above average, it is quite good, but there could be a couple of elements. If they improved a notch more, you could actually hit that 5 over there on the relationship. If we were to do that for health, for example, you score, how do you feel about your health? How do you feel about your overall energy levels? How do you feel about if you got your test done recently, was it all okay? I mean, no case of diabetes or any initial symptoms of disease that might make you worried. So if it's all okay, then you are enjoying really good health, and you might like to put yourself on a 3 or a 4, right? But with some room for improvement, if you feel that, I could be a little bit less, or I could work on my energy levels, or my muscular strength is something that I really want to, make very, very good and solid. So that's how you start using this wheel, and it becomes a partner for ongoing progress and goal setting. Yeah. So if that is clear, do make your wheel, and then we'll come to the exercise which I have in mind for you. Uma, if there are any more questions, feel free to bring those to me as well.
They wanted you to stay on the career slide for a bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are just sample questions. You could ask yourself different ones too. You could ask yourself a lot more. So I do a lot of leadership coaching for senior leadership professionals. This is a very good technique that we use to actually help them to reflect upon each area of their life and how to come up with answers so that they have an idea of where they are, if they're feeling incomplete, or they're feeling burnt out, or they're not happy with the way their career looks right now. What could they be doing which could actually make a lot of difference to them? So this is something which, these are sample questions. This is not all of it. It's not the whole universe, just to give you an idea.
Mm-hmm. There's a question from Ruchika. She says, how do we use this wheel for growth after having assessed our current situation?
So that's what I'm going to come to next, and that's absolutely the right question to ask to yourself, because this is a tool which is going to convert the art of setting the inspirational goals. Remember, we learned how to set those goals correctly. Now we are assessing, where we are in each area of our life, and the next thing we are going to do is use this wheel of life to help us to grow in the desired areas of our life. So let's see how to do that. Okay, Ruchika, so here goes. So in the wheel of life, now we are all going to do this exercise together. And this is a deep exercise. Don't think that we have to start and finish it during this webinar. Some of you might be doing this for the first time in your life. I've seen people even breaking down because it depends on how deep you go with your, introspection and how honest you are with yourself. If you really, do that well, this can also become, especially in the beginning, a very emotional exercise till it starts to feel like it's a practical exercise and you start having fun with it, right? So don't worry if you feel I go fast, because we'll keep to the 5 o'clock timeline so that I finish and I give you room to ask questions. But learn the techniques today, right? So step 1, how do we use this wheel now? Start to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 in each of these areas that you have put on your circle. Okay? Don't give it a lot of deep thought right now. Just get your hands dirty and then start to use that wheel. 1 being the lowest score, you're not at all happy. 5 being outstanding, excellent, super thrilled at that score. How would you rate yourself on family? So circle, whichever number that you choose, and then color it, shade it. You can even use different colors, when you have more time to do it. So each section has a different color attached to it. What's your score looking like when it comes to your friendships, your social relationships? Are you happy with the kind of time you are giving them? Do they give you back enough? What could you do to have deeper and more meaningful connections with friends? Career and finance. This is a big one as well, I know. How satisfied do you feel? And you can ask yourself some of the questions I had on the previous slide, right? Health. We're all concerned about it in a never before way, right? How do you feel about your health and well-being today? And this could mean physical health. This could also mean mental health, both. Personal passions. So in the lockdown period, a lot of people don't know what to do with their time because they realized that they had given up on all hobbies. Beyond watching Netflix, there's very little that, they remember how to do. So renew those passions. Score yourself honestly today and then make a plan as to what more will I do. For example, you want to read more and you know you are lazy, you will not read more on your own. Could you create a book club where you collect a few friends and you all read a book and talk about it every week or every month? So Ruchika, this is also how you use the wheel of life to take concrete action. And last is spirituality or personal growth. It could mean growth in your mindset, in the way you look at how to get a sense of balance, mind, body, soul. How to think about, yourself and why you are here, reason for your existence, and those deeper questions, which will give you further light into how to carve the right future for yourself that is aligned with your value systems. That's very important. So how do you score yourself in each of these areas? After having assessed that, the step 2 is to understand that what would you want your score to look like, right? Now, you would say, Shilpa, that's a really stupid question because all of us would want a 5 in every area of our life. However, that's not the purpose of working with this wheel because, you know, we have 24 hours. So there is time, which is limited, and there's energy, which is limited. And depending on our circumstances, where we are in life, we are always working on prioritizing as to what's important. So today, if you have to make a career because your family depends upon the finances which come from your career, the future of the family, the children, security for the future, all of that is dependent on how well you do professionally. You will perhaps have to make a big trade-off to spend more time, energy, and do more on that front versus, say, spending time with friends or on hobbies, right? So improving the score on hobbies or personal passions, though we all want a 5 there, may not be practically viable for you at this point in time. You would rather work on your career and your health, for example. Or there will come a time where you feel extremely burnt out and you take a break from your career because you can afford to do so. Or you know that you can't go on one single day more and you do need that break. Or you need to move to another company and you have some time in between. Well, you could then look at, okay, I have 3 months. What do I do with that time now? How do I reprioritize, repurpose that time so that I'm actually working a lot more on things which matter to me in my free time? So that's how this wheel of life continuously partners with you to keep in mind your dynamic life situation and continue to propel you forward depending on how you work on your priorities. So that's the step 2. Look at creating a realistic go-to score on each of these now. So it's a quick 30 seconds. But like I said, you don't have to finish the task here. It's the starting. I'm leaving you with food for thought today and giving you a very powerful tool to help you achieve that goal. So if you were, say, a 2 on personal growth and you want to take that up to a 3, put a 3 over there. If on career and finance, you were, say, 2, but you want a 4 over there, it's a bigger jump that you want to see. That's something you want to do over there as well. So let's move to step 3 now. Okay. So like I said, time and energy perhaps would be, both limiting us in our ways. So what's important is to prioritize that one thing you want most in each area of your life. And that's an exercise we are not going to do right now, but I want you to note that down as step number 3 in using this wheel of life to grow, to move ahead in each of your desired areas. Because the next thing is something which most people end up not doing. So they create a nice list of 25 goals, right? That's more like a bucket list. That's not really crafting well-designed goals at all, right? So that's where it's important to prioritize that one thing, okay? One thing in each area which has the highest impact on the quality of how you would feel about your life if you were to achieve that. So over this weekend, really think about that for each area of your life and list down that one big priority. If I had this, then my life would look really good, right? So do that for yourself. The step number 4 is prioritize what you would like to work on first. So if it's me, I have to think about, is losing X kgs very important, or is it spending extra time with my clients and finding new clients for my strategy consulting firm at this time? Because a lot of people will not be giving new business at this point in time. So how do I prioritize between the two, right? Can I still afford to be, a Netflix junkie at this point in time? Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. So that's where we will have to really look at what is that one priority which will have the biggest impact. So remember, for each area we had one priority, which means you had 6. And now we're actually coming down to one really big one to begin with. This is also recommended because it will give you practice on how to really work with this wheel of life, craft the goal, which is going to be my last step for you today. Okay, in this section, and then we quickly move to some more bits before I will wind up and open up to questions. So step number 5 would be that one priority that you took for yourself, which would have the biggest impact on your life. Do these for that one priority, which means that you have to create a well-crafted goal, a well-designed goal for that one priority for it to really come true in your life, right? So I'm going to give a reminder of those 10 points. Clarify why you want this priority, to be converted to a goal. What will you get if you achieve that? Analyze your start and finish points. Don't just say I'm a 2 and I want to become a 4, but really understand, what does 2 mean? Does it mean too little money at the end of the month and you want to be really comfortable? Okay, and what does comfortable mean? If you earn X, how much would that Y look like, which would make you comfortable? Okay, so start and finish points. Begin writing down that goal. Again, don't keep it in your mind. Don't forget it after the webinar, but start to write it down. Set a deadline by which you really would like to see that goal getting achieved. Understand that there will be sacrifices. So if you want to make more money, you might need to work longer hours or work smarter or pick up a side hustle. You might have to really think about ways and means which are different from how you live life today. Think about anticipated obstacles. What could stop you at this point in time? What could be a setback or a challenge, and be prepared. And find your accountability partner who's best equipped to give you advice in that area. And like they say, never go for wealth advice to someone who's much poorer than you. Yeah, I'm not saying it. It's a well-known saying. Don't go for strategy advice to someone who's never built a business on their own. Okay, never lost, never failed. These are important things to also understand. Keep a good accountability partner close to you. Convert your goal into a plan so that it really looks like you know your milestones, you know what will be hit by what time. Start new habits and schedule so that you just can't forget it. Set reminders, set dates with your accountability partner for a feedback session. If something's not working out, understand why it's not working out, modify the plan and start all over again. But don't give up. You can do this. People are attempting this. If done with this technique, these 10 points, translated to the wheel of life, translated to a priority, translated to a plan and new habits, very big chance that you're going to do this. And now I'm going to just introduce you to another very important, it's all about circles today, right? So this is another very important circle. But this is different from the wheel of life because this talks about atomic habits. James Clear, please read his book and you'll understand this even better because he talks about that when people are out to achieve their goals, they really look at 3 ways of reaching their goals. Most actually just try and focus on the outermost circle in his drawing, which he calls as outcomes. Okay, those are like, I want to be a world champion in the next Olympics, for example, in the 400-meter race. So that's an outcome that somebody wants to do or achieve. The second kind of habit changes that people bring in are called the processes, which means how will I do it? I will get a new coach and I will start training 6 hours a day. But the biggest change that is needed when we actually have to achieve a goal is called the identity, which means you have to go back to your core and focus on the why am I doing this? Why is this important for me? Why will this change my life? Why do I need it now? And the day you answer that for yourself, I think that really starts to trigger the real change. Otherwise, what happens? We are changing only superficially. And that's where the first challenge comes in, bump, and we are out of our focus in terms of reaching that goal. But if this is intrinsic, you will not need outside motivation. You will not need, to really feel that I have to look up to someone or wake up every morning and think new things. You will have that inspiration from inside, and that's much more powerful and long lasting. So how do we achieve this? And I'm going to give you 5 steps to do that exactly today as well. So start with the belief that you can make that change. So once the goals are written, the prioritized version is there with you, and you've crafted it using those 10 points, is the real work starting for you and me. It really starts with the belief that I can make that change. This change is good for me. I deserve this change. Because if nothing changes here, it will not change in the way we show up in our habits, in our schedules, right? The second thing is visualize, and you've all heard this, but I'm just packaging it all together because there is no one place where we can hear all this, unfortunately. There's a lot of literature on goals, but there's no one place which gives you the art and the science both together, right? So visualize yourself every day having achieved that goal, living that life, seeing the impact, understanding how happy you are and what it's already done for you. The third thing is, and I really believe in these myself, and I've seen very powerful impact on big CEOs and big leaders across domains, the ones who start to do this. They really believe in affirmations, and nobody can feed these to you. You create your own. Start by saying that, I am winning the world championship. I am running the 400 meters in record time. I am, practicing to build wonderful speed every day. I am. So whatever that affirmation is for you, that propels you, that gives you that inner drive to go out and make it happen every day, make it for yourself, and then put it in your bag, write it in your diary, put it on your phone, make that your home screen, lock screen, whatever works for you, your desktop, your background. I think anything and everything which propels you to get there, do it. Make it easy for yourself, not difficult. And continue to engage regularly with your accountability partner. The onus is on us, not on them. Right? There might be good people giving us their time, but it's your life, your goal, and it means something to you. So seek them out, book time with them, and take their feedback with openness, and say a thank you every time you get that feedback. Measure progress, because that's most necessary. If we don't know where we have reached, from a 2 we wanted to become a 4, we should know if we are really moving, and now we are between 2 and 3 on that wheel of life. Am I progressing, or am I stuck at 3? Why am I stuck at 3? What can I do to get out of here and then reach towards the 4? So measure along the way, and you'll start having fun with that, right? So when I wanted to lose weight, what did I do? I installed an app that measured my footsteps, that told me how many calories I ate, how many I burned, how many sessions of exercise I attended, what I did well, and it also gave me feedback of where I sucked. I mean, where I just completely goofed up or was lazy or indisciplined, and I got a nice whack for that as well. So it kept me going because I was measuring too. So this is a great formula. Those 10 steps there and these 5 here, the wheel of life in the middle, which gives you the connection between setting the goals and achieving them, is something that is a powerful way and really the art of setting inspirational goals and the science of achieving them. So in summary, what have we discussed today? Why should we set inspirational goals? how to craft well-designed goals, how can we achieve our goals using scientific methods, and everything I've told you has been backed by research and science. It's not something which is mumbo jumbo, but this is really positive psychology, neuroscience, a lot of very verified research, credible research done across continents, across age groups, across professions, to really tell you that this works. So please try it. And we worked on an example together, all of us. I hope you had some nice food for thought. Some room for reflection for all of us is always there, and weekend is a great time to go ahead and do it. So thank you very much for being such a great audience and for all the questions in between. I'll hand over to Uma now, who will help to facilitate with the questions that you would have out of this. So thank you, everybody. Over to Uma.
That was amazing. Very, it's a simple concept, but I think the structure helps everyone understand and practice it. So there are quite a few questions that have come up. I will go through them.
Sure.
Shruti is asking what all comes under personal growth.
Okay. So personal growth is, like the topic says, very personal. So some people want to work on their attitude. Some people want to work on things like, their daily habits when it comes to just doing anything better, which could be productivity linked. So I do this in, say, 15 minutes, and then I want to do it better. And I want to be able to do this in 5 minutes. So for example, it's speed reading that I want to do, or I want to be able to memorize things if I'm a student when I read it once. So there are very many, areas where if we introspect, we can, see personal growth there. I would even count things like, your ability to concentrate, find balance. So if you can meditate longer, you can actually stay calm and then get rid of your anxiety. So things like that could be also a format of personal growth for some people. While for others, it's really about skilling yourself, which means adding new skill sets. I want to learn how to code in languages I've never coded before. I want to learn how to do web design. So those are skill sets I did not have before, and now I want to invest my time, money, and effort to doing that. So those are all part and parcel of personal growth.
Okay. Yamini is asking how to stick to our goals when we've lost motivation.
That's such a real question, and that happens to all of us. And that's where I would very quickly say I go back to this, where the ability to visualize, to give something form and shape in the form of affirmation cards, or some people like to draw a vision board so that they can see their goals every day and get inspired. That's very, very important. I'm sure each one of us has a friend we can go to, a relative or a parent or a partner, or seek out mentors. So sometimes where you find yourself stuck, there is actually enough help available in the world. You just have to reach out your hand and say, I need help. And you'll be surprised how many people help you to get unstuck and get motivated once again.
Okay. Vandana says, why is it important to focus equally on all aspects?
So Vandana, actually, it is not important to focus equally on all aspects. What the Wheel of Life reminds us is that our life is made up of several dimensions, and to feel really fulfilled, it's very interesting that we see growth in all these dimensions, because that's what makes us a complete human being living in an ecosystem, right? But it is not important to grow equally or to have the same score in all the sections. You could be, in some section at one point in time and 4 in another, and that's absolutely okay, as long as you feel that your life has a sense of equilibrium. Because like I explained, there could be, circumstances in our life where we knowingly, purposefully don't give time to one area of our life and have to give more time to another, right? But there would be time that would come back. And so, for example, a mother, a new mother who had a great career before she delivered a baby and has to take a sabbatical for those 6 months. So she can't be saying that I want to become a 5 on my career in these 6 months and bring up a baby. And, you know, there might be people who say that as well, but most people actually like to say that, okay, this is a sabbatical. I want to use it to give the best time, the quality and quantity time to my baby. And after that, I want to really get back to work and pick up from where I left and grow from there. So it all depends on what's important to us at which point in life, in life for us. Uma.
Okay. Falguni says, what do you do when you realize that just one aspect of your wheel is affecting almost everything else and pulling it down? Because it's not always easy to compartmentalize in your head.
So absolutely, and I think that's what actually happens to all of us. We don't realize it, and what the wheel of life does so powerfully is that it creates an awareness as to where we are in each area of our life. And rather than getting disappointed that I'm a 1 on everything and a 5 on only one thing, I think that's a great starting point. That should tell you that whatever you put your time, energy, and attention to, you can actually get a good score. You have it in you. Today, with all the tools and the techniques that I have taught you, you could actually look at what next would you want to prioritize, because you're already 5 or 4 at something, but you want to explore another dimension and grow that, because you're feeling burnt out just working in an office all the time. So you want to cultivate maybe friendships, or have a better social life. So how can you do that? You want to cultivate, like I gave the example of becoming a reader once again, bring up that hobby once again in your life, start a little book club. So there are all these things that you can do once you become aware that this is where I am and this is where I want to go to. Yeah, like I said, the what and the how you will figure out. Why is most important.
Okay. Someone says, I have tried to visualize, but sometimes what happens is the opposite of what I visualized.
So human beings tend to have almost 60,000 thoughts, and almost 90% plus are negative in a single day. We get attracted towards what can't happen or the bad, so I'll give you a quick example. So my husband's a senior journalist, and I asked him, why do you keep showing all this negative news? And, it's so demotivating and disappointing. He says, but that's what people want to watch. The programs which actually have the worst and the most negative things coming out actually have the highest TRPs. And now that should tell us something about the fact that we get attracted or easily distracted towards, things which aren't really great or what will help us really grow in life. So I'm not saying don't be a realist. It's okay to not get what you want, but you have to have the tendency to come back and discipline yourself. And that's where just visualizing is not enough. Setting the right habits, the prompts, the schedules, the feedback session, all of this works together. And that's why I said it is a science. So people who just say that just visualize or just hope, things will be better, or just think positive all the time, that's good. But I think in these times, especially look at what is happening to us now. If everybody were to just sit and think positive and do nothing, we will get to nothing. Yeah. So we need to have a bias towards action, even more so at these times where we need to be out. And we need to be, in fact, leaders in our own families, in our own communities, and say that we are going to make it better. And this is what I can do, even if I'm sitting locked down in my own home, right? I can do a webinar. I can reach and make friends with so many people, wonderful people, intelligent people, and reach out to them and learn something back from them. So that's what I'm doing exactly today. So it's about really getting to form those habits as well, not just visualizing, because, positive thinking is good, but it's not enough.
Okay. How often should the wheel of life be recreated? Shruti says that.
I would say revisit it at least once a month. Have a date with yourself. which is me time, and sit in a favorite corner of the house these days, or in your favorite coffee shop when things become better. Wherever you feel that you have space and peace for yourself, and have that date with yourself, and see where you are and where you want to go. It's not a once in a lifetime exercise for sure. The more you keep it as a friend you talk to regularly, the more it will be of service to you as well.
Okay. Someone's asking for the difference between personal passion and personal growth.
Okay. So personal passion is just another word for hobbies, fun, or recreational activities, things which you do in your pastime. Personal growth really is, it talks to that you are someplace, like I described, with certain skill sets, perhaps, certain attributes, and you want to make an improvement so that you do those things better, or you acquire new skills or attributes which you did not have before. So if I did not know how to cook before, and then use these 21 days to learn how to do basic cooking, then I actually have grown personally, because it wasn't really a hobby or recreation, but this is something I'm doing very mindfully, because it's a skill set I need. For example, if I have to go and live on my own outside my parents' home, say in 6 months' time. Or I'm learning a completely new skill set which would help me in my career, which I did not really know how to do before. Learning a new language, which could help me communicate with more people. That's also something which really comes under personal growth. And when you start having fun with it, I mean, call it personal passion. Who cares? As long as you're doing great things and having fun while doing it.
So there is a question which says, how does one get better in their career in spite of sincere efforts? If one fails to achieve their career goals, what should they do?
Okay, so I think take a step back and sit and analyze as to what really is working well in your career, what really is not working well in your career, what are the kind of attempts that you have made that have helped you to move forward, and what are some of the obstacles, challenges, or setbacks that you faced which did not allow you to go with your plan moving forward. And I always say, please seek out for mentors within the organization or outside, people who've been in your shoes. I work a lot with senior women leadership professionals as well, and everybody, believe me, everybody has challenges. It's not just you alone. So I think come to a place where you say, okay, I can do something about it. And then really sit down and do those 10 things on the goal that you set for yourself. Because many times what I have realized is that we think we are setting goals, but all what we are doing is actually putting a wish list and then not taking the necessary backup action, the scheduling, the affirmations and visualizing, as well as the accountability that is needed to actually make that goal come true for us. So like I said, goal setting is one thing, goal achievement is a very different thing. Only when you do both of them together consistently do you move forward. So go back after this session, think about where you are, where you want to go, what are some of the things that you did well in the past, and after this session, what will you and what can you do differently for yourself?
Mm-hmm. This is probably the last one. It says, how do we connect with our why? How do you identify your why?
So this is actually a whole different webinar. It's a topic one can talk for days. But a very short answer to that is, actually, send me a direct message on LinkedIn, and I'll put some resources which you can refer to and get to connect with your why. I'll also try and put some on the platform which you can refer to post the webinar. But really, connecting back with your why is doing things which really bring you alive, and nobody needs to push you or force you or motivate you to do those things. Once you really connect with what you're good at, what you can actually make money doing, what has a good impact on others when you do. I think the confluence of all these really becomes your life purpose. And many people do follow me on LinkedIn. Very often I do write about the purpose of life. So just look up for Shilpa Ajwani on LinkedIn, and I'm sure in the coming days I would give some more answers on all these questions actually.
Thanks, Shilpa. What I will also do is I'm pasting the link to the Scale-a-thon group on the chat for everyone. Join that group. And Shilpa, if you could share some of this content that you just mentioned on that particular group, I can help you post this call. So that will be great. And everyone can stay in touch with each other and with Shilpa on that particular group, leverage some of the content she shared. Amazing. I've actually been looking through the comments. There's so many comments around how amazing and insightful this session was. Shilpa, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for joining on a Saturday. I think we had over 50 participants on a Saturday afternoon, which is amazing. And I see that people have joined from US and Japan also, which is really interesting. Thanks everyone. Let us stay in touch and do check out the upcoming webinars on the Star in Me. Thanks, Shilpa.
Thank you. Thanks, Uma and Maua, and all the best to the Star in Me. There is a star in all of us, so let's bring that out nicely. All the best, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye.